On-Road Driving Education, a multi-award winner and Australia's leading experts in driver education.
Good day everyone, my name is Navneet Anand from Waisagical Local and Global. The video that we're going to do today is not only going to be informative, it's very special and close to my heart. I have the guests Ronan and Salim with me. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, thanks a lot.
Starting with Salim, tell us something about Ronan.
Ronan is a very special boy, I have to say, as a father and as him being my son. I mean, Ronan has come a long way. He was on the spectrum when he was little, we found out, and going through life with autism was difficult initially. But he's advanced in so many ways, and he's filled our lives with joy because of all his behaviors of interesting and lively things, and comes up with different ideas, and now more and more we're seeing the real Ronan who just loves life in general basically, and he just goes out there, and when he's challenged on something he finds it really interesting. He looks at things in a slightly different way than say me and you would look at it, but it's fascinating.
Ronan, to start with, why did you want to learn the driving?
So really it's like I want to learn how to travel independently and build up my confidence skills on like what it means on learning how to get my P's and learning how to drive wherever I go to meet up with like friends, for instance.
Great. How does being on the spectrum affect your ability to drive?
Well, being on the spectrum, like, it was such an amazing experience, and for my driving, it's like, even so, I still enjoy learning how to drive and being on Love on the Spectrum show, because really, it's like I'm learning new experiences and getting to do more activities a lot.
When did you really get your license in the first place, and how much does it mean to you?
So really, I got my L's like when I was like around 16 years old.
Wow, how much does it mean to you?
It means so much to me because when I got my L's, it was like I've always wanted to learn how to drive a vehicle.
Being a free bird on the roads like anybody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
What has been your driving experience overall?
So really, like, my driving experience has been like so great. I mean, like, especially the steering and even my parking as well, and also lane changing, especially whilst looking over the shoulder.
Now, you being a great son, great human being, I would ask you to give an advice to all those parents who have the autistic child.
Well, really, like, I would say to every other people with autism, there's one saying that I can say to other people with autism. Don't feel upset, just keep going and going. Practice always makes perfect.
Ronan, I've got one question for you. Being a father as well as a driving instructor, what difference did you feel while teaching a child with a special need versus a normal child?
When I first started with that, it was going to be very interesting to teach somebody with autism or somebody on the spectrum, because when I first started teaching Ronan how to drive, I started to observe the different views of what they interpret and how they see things. And so my main position with that was to actually make sure that, number one, anxiety as much as possible is out of the window, which means that when they're driving, because of their condition, I wanted to make sure that they're as comfortable as possible. So in the events of any errors or anything that they say they might not be actually correct, rather than pushing them out and saying, no, that's not how you do it, it was more like, that's okay, but let's now try and do it in this way. So I basically am changing their direction so that they can see a slightly different angle. So it does get a bit tricky sometimes, and instructions need to be limited with people like that, so that there's not too many instructions bombarded, because when there is too many instructions bombarded to them, then it's like they lose the plot sometimes. Single instructions, very simple things, and it makes a huge difference. It makes them feel good about themselves. They start to get excited, focus a little bit more, and I started to see more and more development, not just with Ronan, but even with other students that came through, which were special needs.
How did your life change? To what extent after you got your license?
So really, like, when I got my ELS, my life was like changed so big, because really I got so excited, and like I just couldn't wait to get inside the car and learning how to steer the wheel. It's like, it was so incredible to me, and like really my independency traveling was just the beginning, especially like learning how to drive.
Not only the driving, if I ask you to tell us the two important things about any of the special needs person that you want to give advice about.
So really, like, I would say the two things I would give to like people with autism, like I would like say to them, like, do your best out there and always remember safety rules and instructions.
You know, Salim, I really wish to congratulate you for bringing Ronan to the studio and giving us a chance to have a chat about what a brilliant son you have got.
Thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure having us here, and I'm glad we were able to share just his thoughts and how he sees things, you know, to a slightly different sort of idea and how we see things, but very interesting, and yeah, it's nice to see that. Thank you. Thank you very much.
On behalf of my whole team and On Road Driving School, I want to say thank you once again. Thank you so much.
My
pleasure.
appreciation,
Thank you.
I enjoy.